Ever wonder what happens when something as big as the International Space Station gets decommissioned? It doesn't get pushed farther into space. Instead, it gets sent hurtling back towards Earth. And because it's too big to be fully destroyed by the Earth's atmosphere, the flaming debris has to land somewhere. And that place is here.
And they call me Captain Nemo.
Named for the character in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Point Nemo is so remote that astronauts on the ISS, which orbits 227 nautical miles above Earth, are often closer to it than any other humans. Nestled 3,000 miles east of New Zealand and 2,000 miles north of Antarctica, Point Nemo has become the final home for more than 263 pieces of space debris since 1971. That includes Russia's Mir space station and NASA's first space station, Skylab. But the ISS won't fall to the bottom of the ocean fully intact. Rather, it will break into fragments as it settles below the sea. The International Space Station is expected to keep operating until the end of 2030, before it's crashed into Point Nemo. But it won't just drop like a cannonball out of space. NASA will begin to prepare the ISS for deorbit as early as 2026 by lowering the altitude of the Space Lab. It's expected to crash back to Earth by January 2031.
With the exception of windows and patios, this used to be the only kind of screen people encountered on a regular basis. Now they're everywhere from the grocery checkout to the gasoline pump. And an American chain of pharmacy stores is testing out a new kind of screen on the doors of its drink coolers. You can't always see through the screens to what's actually inside, and one shopper wrote on social media that he had to watch an ad to know where the frozen pizzas were. That's part of the reason why this new technology has left a sour taste among some consumers. Why was it installed in the first place?
Someone explain this to me.
In some Walgreens locations, glass refrigerator doors have been replaced with these digital screens as part of a pilot program. And some are taking to social media to say they don't like them.
Could you open up the thing to get me some water? Yes. What in the world they lied? Why would they lie?
Man, what if you're sold out of something that doesn't register? If only there was a way that we could see inside the freezer, like a glass door.
The technology comes from Cooler Screens. The CEO says he started the company when he saw the customer experience gap between shopping online and shopping in a physical store and wanted to bring these experiences together.
We're creating this hybrid experience, right? You are shopping in a physical store and all the best that comes with it, right? Immediately you grab the product you want, it's readily available, but you get the benefit of, as if you are shopping online, of having all this richness of information and content and interaction.
The company tries to create what they call a retail media network. Brands pay Cooler Screens to run ads. Retailers, such as Walgreens, share a cut from the advertising. Sensors and cameras are set up both inside and outside of the fridges to track consumer activities.
And retailers were obsessed about digital transformation. And we gave them something very specific and tangible that was solving a real consumer problem and yet was bringing them real business benefits.
The company claims people love this technology. However, some consumers say they found it confusing. Julio Sevilla, a consumer behavior professor from the University of Georgia, says people tend to prefer simplicity in retail settings.
You probably just want to make it easy, right? We all love to get into a supermarket and know exactly what we're getting. I know also exactly where things are, right? And also rely on the fact that you may find things. So for this type of more utilitarian, more leisure-related settings, I think people like their certainty and their simplicity.
This is crazy. I'm so confused. I can't believe this is happening. Look at this.
When there's a new technology, right, consumers are always suspicious, so I respect that. I think, and I'm empathetic to that. So it's very important for a new company like ours to always educate the consumers about what it really does and what it doesn't do.
For 10 out of 10, what do you call a tea party sea level. High tea. This is a climbing party having a tea party on Mount Everest. They were at an altitude of 21,312 feet when they busted out beverages and cookies. The picture was taken last May, but Guinness World Records just certified it as the highest tea party ever held. The organizer, who reached the mountain summit 2 weeks after this photo was taken, said the greatest things in life are often those shared. What a great way to celebrate with your mates. Of course, they'd probably been climbing for a long time. They were meant to do more while they were there. They might have been reeling from the altitude, and the tea was probably cold. But they totally dunked on that previous record, and it wasn't just the tradition that was steeped. I'm Carl Izzers. From La Plata, Maryland, we heard from La Plata High School. Shout out to you, and thank you for subscribing and leaving a comment on our YouTube channel. That's a wrap for CNN.
Okay. What'd you put?
I said two things. Items have been left on the moon, such as a Bible. I want to leave something on the moon. And then I said, I think that the freezers / fridges that have screens are stupid. Because usually if you go out, you expect to see what you're gonna get, and the screens aren't working correctly.
Yeah. Super weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That's such a strange thing. Like, why not just leave it the way it is, right? That's what I would think, personally. But, you know, I'd also like to be the guy that makes a lot of money off the fact that I thought about putting a TV screen in the grocery store. That wouldn't be that bad, huh? Alright, so today we're going to discuss Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations. Okay. Do you know who Adam Smith is?
No.
That's good, because you know what that means? You're going to learn about it. Yippee-ki-yay. Okay. Adam Smith is the guy who wrote Wealth of Nations in 1776, excuse me. Wealth of Nations outlines the economic theory known as capitalism. Do you know what capitalism is?
No.
You know nothing about capitalism.
I heard it.
Where have you heard it?
In my global class?
In where?
In my global class?
In your global class?
Yeah.
Like this one?
No, like.
Oh, the old global class. Oh, okay. Do you remember anything about it?
No, literally I don't even remember anything.
Remember nothing.
No, because I didn't listen.
But you listen in here, right?
Yeah, I have to.
That's true. That's a good point.
Because I'm the only person in here.
But you do such a good job.
I got a deep voice.
Okay. Let's take a look at this list. So this list is a couple years old, 2019.
And we're not gonna read it.
So it's a little outdated. Well, I'm just gonna look at it. What are some of the things that you notice? This is a list of the richest people in the world, and the picture is a picture of the richest countries in the world. So the darkest are the richest, and the white are not very rich at all, compared to the other ones at least. Okay, so what are the things, well, let's start with the map. What do we notice about the map? What two countries are the darkest? What's this?
I don't know. What?
What's this country?
Asia. Can't read that.
UNI.
You're not in the United States?
There you go. What about this one? CH.
China.
China.
CH.
China. So China and the United States are the two richest countries in the world as of 2019.
Because they make this shit. So.
Thank you. So, looking at this list, right? This list of people, what do you notice? Is there anything that sticks out?
I know all these places.
You know all the places.
Besides Zara, oh no, I know Zara, I think. And I don't know this Oracle thing.
Oh, okay.
Or LVMH.
LVMH,
Or
okay.
Berkshire Hathaway.
Okay.
Or Marriott Volio.
Okay. Sure.
I
Sure.
know L'Oreal, I know Google.
Yep.
There's two Googles, why is there two?
Because
There's another Microsoft.
so it's about the companies that they're involved in, their main source of wealth. Okay, so like Facebook, for example, was actually created by a couple of different guys. Okay, and then Mark Zuckerberg took them over. But Microsoft,
Why is Steve Jobs not on here?
because he had already passed away.
Well, he'd be the richest man alive.
Actually, he wouldn't. Jeff Bezos would still be the richest man alive.
Amazon?
Yep. It is what it is. Bill Gates is next. Okay, LVMH, I believe, is a real estate company. Is it real estate or? No, I think they're software. Berkshire Hathaway is real estate. Okay. Zara, I'm not sure. America Mobil is a oil company. Okay. You know what Google is? L'Oreal. Reliance is real estate. Okay, Walmart, Bloomberg, Walmart, Koch Industries, Alibaba Group. Now let me ask you a question. Where are these people from? What country?
United States? Really?
Mostly the United States. Right? Isn't it weird? How many people are here from China?
One?
Well, that's weird, isn't it? If China and the United States are the two richest countries, why is there only one Chinese person on the list?
Because everything comes from China?
Okay, well, why is there only one super rich Chinese person on this list? Why are United States citizens vastly more wealthy than Chinese citizens?
Because they're white. I don't know.
What do you think? Who do you think makes the money in China if they're the richest
Oh,
country?
they're a different person, the boss. They're different, like.
Who's the boss? Who makes the money?
What is it? It's not a president.
Okay, the government
That.
is what you're getting at, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay. The government, right? And the government owns businesses, okay? This is an economic theory called communism. Have you heard of communism? You've heard the word, okay. Yeah, so we're gonna study that too. But today we're gonna talk about capitalism. So, what do you think the United States operates under? What economic theory?
The boss. What?
It's what we're studying.
Cap.
Capitalism.
Yep, that
Good.
word.
Alright, good.
That's cool.
Okay, so
Key.
first thing we're gonna do, alright,
I can't flip this page.
there you go, you got it. You
I
know
will not look my
it, great job, okay. Alright, we're gonna take a look at 3 terms, okay, and these are really the 3 key ideas, concepts, tenets, whatever word you wanna use, for capitalism, okay? So do you wanna read or do you want me to read?
You can read it.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Adam Smith was a Scottish economist and philosopher. In 1776, during the Scottish Enlightenment and the Scottish Agricultural Revolution, Adam Smith wrote an inquiry into the nature and causes of the wealth of nations, or wealth of nations, as most people call it. To write an inquiry into the nature and causes of the wealth of nations, he used 17 years of notes, observations, and conversations with economists during the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. The Wealth of Nations shares Adam Smith's ideas about what makes a nation wealthy. That's obvious, right? It's in the title. Wealth of Nations, nations wealthy. Okay? Adam Smith introduces 3 concepts: productivity, division of labor, and the invisible hand. The economic system described in an inquiry into the nature and causes of the wealth of nations is now known as capitalism. Okay? So, productivity, division of labor, and invisible hand. Before we get into them, we're gonna make a guess as to what each one of those things mean.
Okay, I know the invisible hand one.
Okay, let's start with productivity.
Let's start with the invisible hand.
Okay, let's start with the invisible hand.
Ready? Where is it?
The invisible hand, that's good. It's gone, it's invisible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Exactly.
Alright, so no hand,
Okay.
right?
Well, what is it? So when we're talking about capitalism, we're talking about, so we have capitalism in the United States, right? Think about how you buy products, how you buy stuff. What do you think the invisible hand means? Again, there's no wrong answers. Okay, we're making guesses. What do you think? If you could make a guess. Wild guess. What's the invisible hand?
I have no idea.
It's okay, take a guess.
No.
No wrong answers.
Okay, it means. But people don't know how they make it. I don't know.
Okay, interesting. People don't know how they make what?
The products.
Okay.
Wait, we're writing my thing down?
Oh yeah,
Why?
because it's great.
Portions?
Orsons don't know what they make. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. What about productivity? What's productivity mean?
We're doing division of labor.
Okay, what's division of labor mean?
Division.
Mm-hmm.
It cuts the labor.
Okay, cuts the labor in half.
They don't work as long. No.
It's pretty good. Okay, and then first and last, productivity. What's productivity?
Activity is like is it activity product? So making products.
Making products.
Now tell me if I'm right.
You're in the ballpark. It's a little more detailed than that, like all definitions are, right? Okay. But we're gonna learn about it, and again, some of these words like productivity could mean a bunch of different things, right? Okay. But productivity as it relates to capitalism, division of labor as it relates to capitalism, and then the invisible hand as it relates to capitalism. Okay, you got all that down?
Yep.
So you'll remember. So you
I don't
can.
know if I do.
So at the end, you can look back and be like, "Holy cow! Look how much I've learned. So much with my invisible hand." Okay. So first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna watch.
Oh no.
It's only like a minute, so
Okay.
it's cool. It's all right. If I can find it,
It's okay.
Karen, get it together. Here it is.
Meet Beth. She owns her own business, making and selling birdhouses. To make a birdhouse, Beth needs wood, paint, nails, tools, and her own labor. These are her inputs. An input is any resource used to create goods and services. It takes Beth 1 hour to make each birdhouse. The completed birdhouses are her output. Output is the quantity of goods or services produced. With experience, Beth discovers better ways to make her birdhouses. By rearranging her production process, Beth is able to build more birdhouses in the same amount of time. She also develops skills that allow her to complete each step in less time. With these improvements, Beth can now make 2 birdhouses each hour. By increasing her output without an increase in the time she worked, Beth has increased her productivity. Productivity is a measure of economic performance that indicates how efficiently inputs are converted into output. Growth in productivity is measured by dividing the change in output over time by the change in inputs over time. Beth could decide that she wants to stop working after she makes 3 birdhouses. If she produces the same output as before with fewer inputs, such as working fewer hours, then her productivity still increases. Increases in productivity allow Beth to either produce more output or have more free time. improving her standard of living. Similarly, the standard of living for the country as a whole depends on improvement in overall productivity. Historically, productivity growth has led to higher wages for workers and higher profits for businesses. To learn more about BLS productivity measures, visit bls.gov/LPC.
Good job, Beth. Big fan of Beth's work. Mr. Curran is.
I was right.
You were right.
I was halfway there.
You were halfway there. What's the other half?
Bringing in other like items, like
Okay, so,
bringing in other technology to make your job easier.
okay, that's related, but not necessarily directly productivity. Okay, the important part about productivity. What's this? What's all this?
Yeah, read it, hold on.
It's math.
Yeah,
Right? You're good at math, though.
yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so we see what are we making here? Or what did Beth make?
Birdhouse.
Birdhouses. And what's our unit per what? Unit per, so like 5 birdhouses per
Oh, hour.
hour. Okay? So this is document 2, right? Now, when we talk about productivity, okay, we're really talking about how much of something you can produce or make
In a period of time.
in a period of time. That's really important, right? Because let's say, right, to go away from birdhouses, I've used the desk analogy before, right? If we're gonna build a desk, right? And you can build 5 desks, and I can build 5 desks. Do we have the same productivity?
Yeah.
If we both think, well, what if you do it in a day and I do it in a week?
But no.
Then no, right? Our productivity level is different. Okay, so that over a certain amount of time is a really, really important part of productivity. Okay, so it's about how much you produce in a given period of time. Okay, and then document 3. There is one sort of labor which adds to the value, and there is another which has no such effect. The labor of a manufacturer adds generally to the value of the materials which he works upon as that of his master's profit. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, it's kind of a weird sentence, right? So let's break it down a little bit. There is one sort of labor which adds to the value. That's important,
What
right?
is value?
How much something's worth. Okay? The labor of a manufacturer adds generally to the value of the materials. Okay? So, if I were to, what are the materials that go into making the birdhouses?
Wood?
Wood,
Saw?
tools. What else? What do you do with the birdhouse when it's done?
Paint.
Hmm? Paint it, and then the last part of it is labor, like the time I put into it, right? Now, is a birdhouse, if I were to just sit here, okay, and put the wood here, put my tools here, put the paint there, what's more valuable, those 3 piles of things or a birdhouse? A birdhouse, right? So I'm taking these raw materials, okay, and I'm adding value to them by producing something new, okay? So like another really good example is these bad boys right here, right? The bricks,
wall?
the bricks, right? The actual brick, okay? If I had a pile of these cinder blocks, whatever they are, right? If I had just had a pile of them, are they as valuable as the building? No, right? We have to take these blocks and we have to create a building. We're producing a building, right? And the building is worth infinitely more than just a pile of blocks. Okay? That's another part of productivity. So, now, what I want you to do give me a definition, a new definition of productivity.
It's taking raw objects or items and turning them into something good.
About something better, right? Because sometimes it's, good, great, whatever. And then what's the other part? Why do
There's
we,
another part
why do we do all the math?
to get to value.
Okay, so we add value, so taking raw materials and turning them into something better. But productivity is also what?
Hour? How fast you go?
How much I what?
Maybe an hour?
How much I can make over a given period of time, right? How much you can make in a given period of time. Okay? Got it? You see how much smarter you are now? See that? That was great.
I'll probably forget it.
All of a sudden, oh no, you're never gonna forget productivity. Okay, you got that?
Yeah.
Okay. I gotta get, the next video up.
What? How long is this one?
It's not very long.
There's not even a video.
Oh, there's a video.
Why?
Trust me. There's always a video.
If it's 14 minutes long, we're not watching it.
It's only 3 minutes.
I don't have time for these videos.
Oh, you got all that.
The benefits of voluntary trade are obvious. Suppose this guy has bananas, and this guy has oranges. He needs oranges for marmalade, and this guy needs bananas for banana bread. They swap, they exchange. Each guy is made better off through trade. In our last video, though, we saw that a key fact about the modern world involves more than simple exchange, more than merely moving existing things around. We grew rich by also producing more stuff per person. Say you're cooking hamburgers and fries for your family. It might take an hour for you to prepare the meal because you individually do everything. You start the grill, you cook the burgers, chop the fries, spice the vegetables, on and on and on. But now look at how a burger joint makes hamburgers. Each worker has a specific job in the chain of production that serves burgers and fries to his customers. Each worker is specialized. This specialization, what Adam Smith called the division of labor, makes individual workers more productive. No more lost time switching between tasks. Plus, as the worker concentrates his effort, he gets better at doing the task at hand. But it's not just the specialization of workers that increases output. It's also the development of specialized tools that modern workers use. The burger joint has tools to slice potatoes, to cook burgers, and to fry the fries. That's the specialization 101. I'm sure you've seen one of these around, the container. They're everywhere. Cargo transported by ship used to be stored in barrels, in sacks, in wooden crates, and offloaded by hand. The invention of the container, though, created more than just a metal box to put stuff in. With it came a wave of specialized technology that dramatically increased productivity in shipping and offloading. Ships themselves evolved, dwarfing their predecessors, with the ability to stack containers below and on the deck. Ports changed too, dredging deep waters and providing specialized pilots and gantry cranes to quickly park and unload ships. Driverless yard tractors magically whisk containers away. The containers are put on trucks and trains built specifically to hold them. Workers today are superhuman compared to their brethren of yesteryear. We went from carrying bags on our backs to lifting the equivalent of 2 school buses with mere flicks of our wrists. To make specialization worthwhile, you need to make a lot of stuff. For example, there's no point specializing in hamburgers if you plan to cook only 1 burger a week, or buying a forklift or a crane simply to unload weekly groceries